Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our first Ramadan story. Today we're going to talk about a very special prophet of Allah, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now after the name of all of our prophets, we say alayhi salam. That means peace be upon him. It's a way that we show respect to these very special people who Allah chose to deliver his message. Now Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was a very interesting person. From a young age, he was very smart, very mature, and he had good judgment. That means he made good decisions. But the thing about his life story is that he was surrounded by people who actually were doing things that didn't sit well with him. The people of his community actually worshipped idols, these statues that they thought were God. And actually, people in his own family even made these idols. And this didn't make sense to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. After all, why would you worship something or pray to something that can't do anything? It can't hurt you, it can't help you, it can't do anything. Think about it this way. If I take this pencil and I drop it, is it going to do anything? Can it get back up and poke me? Absolutely not. That's what Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was thinking. Why are these people worshiping these things? One day, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam decided to teach his people a lesson to make them think. And when all of the people were out, he actually went and broke all of the idols except for the biggest one. And then he actually hung the axe around the biggest idol. Now, one thing I'll say here is that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was a prophet. And the rules for prophets were a little bit different. For us, it's not okay to break people's belongings or to destroy or disrespect anything that belongs to somebody else. But back to our story, when the people came back and they saw that the idols were broken, they were very upset. They were super angry. And they started to think, who could have done this? And they were thinking, that young man Ibrahim, he was always talking about these things. He's probably the one who did this. And they went over to him and they asked him, Ibrahim, did you break our idols? And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam says, well, why don't you ask the biggest idol? It's there, it has the axe. And the people started to think for just a second, is it true? Is he saying the right thing? But they were very stubborn. And they said, you know what? We're tired of you. We're tired of hearing you talk about all these things. And we're going to teach you a lesson. So they actually decided to do something terrible. They built a huge fire. It was so big that even birds couldn't fly above it. And they decided that they were going to throw Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam into the fire to teach him a lesson, that you disrespected our idols and now we're going to punish you. And so I want you to imagine this. And I know this can seem a little bit scary, but I just want you to think about this situation. Prophet Ibrahim is there. He's all alone. All the people are there around him and they're all against him. They tie him up. They tie his hands up, his feet up, and they actually put him into a catapult to launch him into this fire. Now let me ask you guys something. With his hands tied up and his feet tied up and him stuck inside a catapult, is there any way out? Can he get out of this situation? Not at all. And so the people, they launch the catapult and Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is flying through the air and he can see the fire. It's so big. And again, I want you guys to think, what is somebody supposed to do here? Who's going to come and save him? But in that moment, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he knew who was going to come and save him. And he knew the only one who could save him. And he knew that that is Allah. And he said something very special. He said, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel. That Allah is enough for me and he's the best protector. He's the best one to take care of me. And as he said this, Allah tells us in the Qur'an that Allah sent a very special miracle. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam landed in the fire, but Allah commanded the fire to be cool. Now, if you've ever been around a fire, and again, please be careful, okay? Fires are not cool. They are very warm, they're very hot, and we should be careful. But Allah commanded the fire to be cold. He made the fire cold because Allah can do that. And so Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he lands in the fire, but nothing happens to him. The only thing that happened is that the ropes that were around his wrists and his feet, they burned off, but not a single hair on his head was harmed. Now imagine the people who are watching this. They're standing there, they're thinking, we won, we got this. And they're seeing that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is not harmed at all. And they definitely were shocked to see it. But Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam knew that Allah would come through for him, and Allah did. Now let's think about this story for ourselves. Inshallah, none of us are ever thrown into a fire like that. But maybe we're thinking, how does this story really apply to me? What can I do with this? Well, we may not be thrown into a fire, but maybe you guys have felt trapped or stuck in a situation. I know I have. And in those moments, we want to look at this story and remember that the same way that Allah rescued Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, the same way that he provided a solution for him, Allah can and will rescue us as well. He'll provide a solution to us as well because Allah can do anything. And that's the biggest takeaway, especially in Ramadan. As we are going through these very special days and nights, I want everybody here to think about the things you want to make dua for and ask Allah for those things and have trust that Allah will come through for you. Now, trust is interesting. Trust is kind of like a muscle. You have to work it out a little bit. You have to practice it. And so every day in these stories, we're going to practice our trust muscles together. And starting with this story today, we're going to remember this dua, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is enough for me and He's the best caretaker. So that's our first story. And I will see everybody inshallah for our next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.